So the Manx Nature Show basically occurred because this Cathedral Isle of Man in Peel approached us and said, we want to do more for nature and for the wildlife. Can you suggest anything? And somehow we kind of had to think about what to do and came up with this idea of doing some sort of exhibition, which kind of generally ended up as the Manx Nature Show, which is going to be an exhibition of all of the incredible wildlife groups on the Isle of Man, and display boards for each of the 20 groups to kind of detail who they are and what they do, how people can find out about the different species that they study and report sightings as well.
So you sort of pulling all the strings together, because there are a lot of groups out there.
Yes, there are. So we've found, there's over 20 groups that are taking part in the Manx Nature Show. And my job has been to try and find all of them. So we're not just concentrating on the larger groups, perhaps that people know, Manx Wildlife Trust, Manx Whale and Dolphin Watch, but there's even smaller groups as well that people perhaps haven't heard of. There's a spider group, there's 8 Legs of Man, which is just like a one-man band. Yep. And there's the invertebrate group, which is part of the Manx Wildlife Trust, and all of these little kind of interest groups. And I basically just wanted to have a way for them to get their name out there so people can find out that they do exist and that, hey, spiders are cool.
I think you're right, and I'm never cease to be amazed by just the great variety of groups that are out there. Some of them, as you say, don't get a lot of the limelight and might be relatively small, but what they lack in size, they make up for in passion. The people there, they're so knowledgeable and so keen about their individual area. It's fantastic.
Absolutely, yeah. That's the thing that kind of binds conservationists together, because there isn't any money in it. You have to do it for the passion because you really believe in your study species. So I just wanted to help to raise awareness of these incredible people that are out there on the Isle of Man working hard, many for very little reward. Yeah.
So how's it going to work practically then? What's the actual setup? How do people sort of get involved if they want to come along and see?
So beautifully, because the Manx Nature Show is taking part within the Cathedral in Peel, that's open every single day of the week from 9 a.m. till 6 p.m, obviously subject to church services on a Sunday, for example. But most of the time it is open for you just to drop in whenever you want. So you go into the cathedral, there will be display boards for each of the 20 groups, so information about who they are, what they do, some leaflets that people can take to get involved in their work. There'll also be activities for children permanently within the cathedral itself. So there's going to be a Make a Pledge activity. So you can get inspired by all the different groups, write down your pledge. I pledge to dig a wildlife pond, for example. I pledge to go out and watch birds and then stick it onto this really cool branch. And there will be a quiz sheet that the kids can go around the cathedral and find out all the answers. And it's not only inside, but also outside within the incredible gardens of the cathedral, which are really diverse and planted with wildlife in mind. So there's lots of flowers, which are really good pollinators for the bees and the butterflies. There's nest boxes around the grounds as well, so you can have a good look round.
And school groups, should they be allowed to come along, or is it sort of individuals?
So it's open for everyone. School groups are absolutely more than welcome. And if you want to get involved specifically with any of the other groups, so the Wildlife Trust or us, Manx Whale and Dolphin Watch, just get in touch with us direct and see if we can meet up with you at some point at the Manx Nature Show and take the kids around the ground and do some activities. And I do also want to mention there's going to be lots of bookable nature workshops. So these are all outlined on the website, which I'll tell you in a moment. And there's an events calendar, and you can look through and find a workshop to do. So, for example, there will be one about swift migration. There's going to be nests and nest box activities where you can learn all about the really cool bird's nest and make one for yourself out of twigs.
Great, yeah.
That's the kind of thing. There'll be art in the garden. So lots of just really interesting workshops put together by representatives of these wildlife groups.
So what's the overall aim? Is it really just to broaden people's knowledge of the amount of groups and study that's actually going on the island?
Yeah, exactly. It's to bring everybody together and to showcase the work of these amazing wildlife organisations, and also to share the knowledge and share the love, I guess, of the different species that you can see around the Isle of Man. We're not talking about wallabies here, which aren't even native. We're talking about the native animals that you can see and how you can actually find them and report them.
So Manx Whale and Dolphin Watch going to have a presence there, I assume?
Yes, we will have a presence. We're going to have our own display board, just like everybody else. We don't want to hog any sort of limelight. I personally don't want Manx Whale and Dolphin Watch to gain any more out of this. The idea is that everybody gets together and works together.
And so what's your sort of, have you got a second favourite thing? Because obviously you're well known on the island for your work here at Manx Whale and Dolphin Watch, and clearly you're interested in conservation and nature in all its forms and shapes and sizes. Have you got a second string, as it were, whether like birds or insects or fungi or lichens or something behind your initial love of the cetaceans?
So before I came here for Manx Whale and Dolphin Watch, I lived in the southeast of England, and I taught children about terrestrial mammals. So we're talking foxes, squirrels, badgers, and that kind of thing. So I think that's actually where my real passion lies, is British land mammals.
Fair enough. And we've not, we won't go on to the foxes on the Isle of Man. We'll never get away one way or another. And now then, timings, and mention the website as well.
So the Manx Nature Show opens on Saturday the 18th of February, and there is going to be an opening event as well, so you can come down at any time throughout that day, and there'll be representatives from the different groups running activities there. And it will run for almost 3 months, coming to a close on the 6th of May. So you've got plenty of time to come down and to get involved. The website is www.manxnatureshow.weebly, which is WEEBLY, I think, .com.
We'll trust you.
And there is also a Facebook page. So it's facebook.com/Manx Nature Show. And if you go onto the Facebook page, there is a link to the website. If I didn't say it well enough, you can read it there.
Perfect. So have you got to run back and forth between Manx Whale and Dolphin Watch's shop and the cathedral, or will you have sort of supporters running the shop while you're up there and vice versa?
Oh, I wish I could say I could. I might have a couple of people to help man the shop, but I think a lot of my time will be spent up at the cathedral, but it's not very far away, luckily.